I'm Carrie Hillman, and I'm on the homeowner support team here at We Need a Vacation. Um, and I guess I sort of specialize in the booking management and the calendar problems. So if you ever have problems with those, feel free to reach out. Um, and I have a home in Orleans that I've been renting through We Need a Vacation for about 5 years now. And I personally use the booking management to keep myself organized. It's a great way to be able to see all of your bookings in one place, to prevent any sort of double bookings. That happens occasionally to people where they have two guests that they think are going to come the same week. But if you put your information into booking management, it prevents that. And then it just helps you keep all the details of each booking organized. So you can put notes in there, you can put all the details about each vacationer. It's just a really helpful way to have it all in one place. And then you can also, at the end of the year, you can export all of the information into an Excel file if you need to manipulate any of the data or figure out anything about your taxes or how much income you had or anything like that. It's all in one place. So it's really helpful in that way. So I will go ahead and share my screen to show you how to use booking management, just kind of the basics we'll start with today. And then, as Sam said, there'll be a follow-up office hour where we go into more detail and talk about the more advanced parts of booking management. So I'm going to actually jump out of this and start in the homeowner center, which hopefully you all know how to get to your homeowner center. And it's kind of like your main page for your listing. And then right over here under guest tracker is booking management. So I'm going to go ahead and click on booking management. And then this brings me to my main bookings page. So this is the list of all of the vacationers. Most of these are test cases here that I just use for samples, but this is where all your vacationers would be listed. And you can see here, I don't have the vacationer's last name just for privacy purposes, but for your own booking management page, you'd want to put the last name of your vacationers just to keep everybody straight. Okay, so a little more about this page. It kind of shows their arrival date, their departure date, what the rental rate is, what the booking status is. So it can be canceled, tentative, booked, what the tracking status is. So this tells you if you're all up to date with everything with this vacationer, or the little red bell means that you've got something that's due that you need to take care of or actually overdue. And if there was like a little calendar image here, that would mean that something is coming up that's due. And then actions over here, you can edit this booking record, or you can make a copy of it. If that vacationer wants to come back next year, you can just copy it and create a new record for next year. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you how to do a quick entry and a full entry for booking management. So let's say I had an inquiry come in yesterday and I talked with the vacationer on the phone and did my little review of them to make sure that they're going to be a good fit for my vacation home. And then I decide, yes, I want to let them rent that week. So maybe I'm in a rush and I have to get to work. So I'm just going to do a quick entry to make sure I keep track of that person. But if I had enough time, I would go ahead and just do the full entry right away, but I'll show you the quick entry first. So I just clicked on quick entry. It's a quick booking entry, so I can quickly do their arrival date. So let's say they're going to show up this weekend. It's sort of a last minute booking. Actually, oops, I want to do arrival, then I'm going to do departure over here. So they'll check out on the 18th. Status. You can mark them as tentative or booked depending upon where you are in the process with them. I usually put them as tentative until I have a signed lease and the first rental payment in my hand. And what tentative does is it's going to mark it on your calendar so that you can see you have somebody who's interested in that week, but it will not block it off for other potential vacationers. So other vacationers can still do an inquiry on that week if they're interested. And then source, you can select the source if they came in through We Need a Vacation. And then right here, inquiries from the past year. Can everybody see the drop down menu here? Sometimes that doesn't show up. You can see it. Okay. So these are all the people that have inquired on my home. So say this was Tina Albright. If she was the one who inquired, then it's going to drop her information in here. Otherwise, I can do blank, and I can just fill in, say this is a test, and then I would put in their email address down here, and then go ahead and click save. And what that's going to do is that's then going to put that right here. You can see I just created this one, the test one, and that I marked them as tentative. And then once I get their lease agreement and their first payment, I'm going to go over here and click on edit, and then that will open up the full booking record. So this is how you enter a full booking record. I'll just jump back out to that page I was just on. If you wanted to start a new full booking record right here, you would click on full entry, but I'm just going to go ahead and edit this test one that we just started, so that you can put in all the extra information. So there's a lot of things you can add. All of it is optional, except for where there's a star, you need to add the information with a star. But so like right here, I like to keep track of the rental party. So say there's 4 adults and 4 children. And then if there are children, I'll put in the ages of the children. So, maybe these are the ages of the children that are coming. And then that helps if I'm going to leave a welcome gift. It helps me know what to leave for the kids. And then any notes, you can pop in any notes here about the rental group. Maybe they've been to the Cape every year for the last 10 years. They're very familiar with the town of Orleans, but they know nothing about the beaches or something. So I need to send them follow-up information about the beaches or whatever details you want to remember from that screening call that you did with them. It's really helpful to put as much information into notes as you can. Because if this is your first vacation of the year, you think you're going to remember all the details, but by the time you've spoken with 8 or 12 different vacationers, they can start to muddle together and you might get confused. And especially any information about pets, if they're bringing any pets, I like to make a note of that in here as well. So then that's the main booking information. Then you want to go down to the pricing summary. So right here, and you're going to pop in the rental rate here. So just, whatever your rental rate for that week is, you have to manually type that in here. And if you forget exactly what it is, I would go back to your calendar page, refer to that, see what you had listed for that weekly rental rate. And then as soon as I click that, it automatically added my taxes in here. And so these are the taxes. This is the tax rate for Orleans. And then it automatically added that tax rate. But right now it does not have the additional fees included. So any cleaning fee, linen fee, pet fee, whatever additional fees I might be charging are not included yet. So I have to add those in lower down on this page. And also if I have a security deposit that I'm charging, that will get added in right here below the taxes because it's not a taxed item, but then it will show up included in the total right here. So again, I'll show you those additional fees in a minute, but let's just keep scrolling down here. So vacationer contact information. Again, you can select from your past vacationers if you want to quickly add someone here, or you can do first name, last name, and their email. And so say you use another booking platform like Airbnb and you want to include those people in your booking management, they will not show up in inquiries from the past year. So you'd have to manually enter first name, last name, and email. And we do strongly suggest if you use other booking platforms that you go ahead and add all those people in here too. So you have everybody in one place. You don't have to hide that you get a booking from Airbnb or something because people do that, but it does really help that you put it all into one place for your own organization. Preferred contact, maybe they told me that they like to be contacted by text message, so I can make a note of that here. If it's a repeat guest, I can check that off. If they say, we're really interested in coming back every summer, I can put repeat interest here. Sometimes they won't know this until after they've already stayed at your place. So, feel free to come back and click this off later. Extra fees and services, you can keep track of those there. Like, I don't know, some people buy groceries for their guests or something like that. Sorry about that. And so extra fees would be just put in right there. So then automated reminders. So disabling the automated reminders, this is another part that I'll go into more in the booking management phase 2. But that's going to be, you can set up automatic reminders for payments and for pre-arrival and checkout information for each guest. But that's a little bit more of a complicated process. So I'll be happy to explain that in the booking management phase 2. But just, you can disable those automated reminders if you don't want them sent out by clicking that button right there. Okay, contact information, you can put the guest's address and any phone numbers that they have here. And then down here, the communications and tracking part, this is the fun part that really helps you stay organized. So there are a bunch of details you can add in here. The rental rate was pulled from above, so that's automatically plopped in there. I can mark when I want my lease to be sent, when I want the lease to be received back from the vacationer. I can mark what I'm requesting for payment 1 and 2. What the security deposit is, if that's been received from them yet, and a whole bunch of other details here that you can see, the pre-arrival info and the pre-departure info. So again, you can mark when you want to send that information to them. And also this is where you can kind of track if it's going to be automatically sent to them. And then you can make a note if you've requested a guest review from them and if you've returned their security deposit. If you had to give them any sort of refund, you can keep track of that here. And then these miscellaneous fields you can use to track any other items that you want to. So maybe say you want to keep track of how much you're spending on their welcome basket. You can make a note of that information in these miscellaneous fields down here. And so here you can, whoops, sorry, I went a little too far. You can enter all of this information in manually, or you can set up your settings so that it will pre-populate a lot of this information for you. So I can show you how to do that right now. So you can get to the settings from right here by clicking on settings here, or I'll show you another place that you can go to the settings. I'm just going to save this. And every time I click save, it's going to tell me that the lodging tax is recalculated if any of the rate or fees were updated. So it's just a reminder that your lodging tax will be changed if you've altered fees or anything like that. Okay, so here I am back on the main booking record page. This again is the test one that we were working on right here. And if I want to edit the settings from this page, it's just right here at the top. So again, I'm going to edit these settings that are going to help me to populate that portion of the booking record that we were just looking at. So I'm going to click on settings and I can set the check-in time or checkout time to be whatever my standard check-in and checkout time is. And again, this will be what the standard is, but you can always override it in any booking record. So say I was in that booking record I was just looking at, and they said, we know we're going to have to leave at 8 a.m. on our day of checkout because we have a flight we have to catch. So you can adjust their checkout time to be 8 a.m. or 8:30 to give them a little wiggle room if they need. Or if they request late checkout and you're able to accommodate that, you can put 11 a.m. or noon into the booking record. But for the most part, I would leave these as your standard check-in and checkout time. And then these tracking items default settings down here. So remember when the other view, you could put when you want your lease to be sent to them or when you want your lease received. So this is what I'm going to say for my standard every booking record. I want the lease to be sent within 1 day after I send the booking entry, create the booking entry. So again, kind of your timeline is you have the screening phone call with the vacationer. They're a good fit for your house. You're going to go in, you're going to create a booking record for them to keep track of them. And right away, you want to try to get that lease sent out to them if they're ready to accept the lease. If for some reason they say, don't send me the lease yet, I have to check with my grandma to see if this is a good fit for her, send me the lease in 2 days. So then, you can wait and send it. But for the most part, I always want to send that lease 1 day after I create the booking record. And then I request of the guests that they send it back to me within 7 days of receiving the lease. So I'm going to mark 8 days after the booking entry date to receive that lease back. And then the next part for the payment schedule, I typically will request 50% of the payment when they sign the lease. And so I want to make sure I'm getting that payment pretty close to when I'm getting the lease. So sometimes there's a little bit of a delay if they have to collect money from other people in the party, or if they're using a certain form of payment that takes a little bit longer, like maybe they're mailing me a check or something. I'll give them a little wiggle room, but typically I want that first payment when I'm getting the lease signed. So very close to each other. And then the payment number 2, I'm going to request that 2 months before their arrival date. And this is great for people who are booking well in advance in the summer, but the example I was just giving you was a last minute booking. So I'd want to go into their booking record and override this payment number 2. And I'd actually maybe even drop it down to just 1 payment for the whole thing if it was going to be a last minute booking. Okay, so let's continue on with the settings. Security deposit, I have that listed in here, and I like to receive that with payment 2 at the end with their last payment, 2 months before they arrive. And then cleaning fee, actually my cleaning fee is combined into payments 1 and 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and not put a date on that one. And if you charge a linen fee, you can put that amount in here, and same with the pet fee. I personally don't charge a pet fee because I feel like if I tell the vacationer that's bringing a dog, I say, I don't charge a pet fee, but I really do ask that you clean up as much pet hair and all the dog poops out of the lawn, then they usually do a really good job if they feel like they're getting a deal. Otherwise, sometimes I've had with a pet fee, they think because they're getting charged a pet fee, they're going to have to, or they'll let me clean up everything after their pet, which is not fun, but it's up to you if you want to charge a pet fee or not. Damage waiver, this is typically for realtors to use. And the info and keys sent. So this is kind of your information that you're sending before they arrive. So I usually send this 30 days before they arrive. And I don't send metal keys anymore. Now I use a door code for the a lockbox combination that has the key in it at my house. Some people have a keypad right on their door that will automatically open the door. And then you can keep track of when you want the keys returned. For guest review, I usually want to send this 1 day after their departure or even the day of their departure. And then the security deposit, I want to make sure I'm sending that back to them 30 days after their departure date. And then again, here, miscellaneous, whoops, sorry about that. Zoom miscellaneous 1. If I was going to do keeping track of the welcome basket, I could just, whoops, do that here. And so these are all my user settings. Again, these are going to be able to be applied to any booking record. So I'm going to click save here, and then I'll show you how to apply these to the booking record that we were working on. Okay, so again, this is the test booking record we were working on. To see a quick view of this, I can do this caret drop down here, and that's going to tell me everything I have filled in here. But since I didn't apply any of these settings yet, I don't have any information here. So I'm going to make edits to any of these areas. I'm going to click edit over here. Sometimes people think they can just pop in here and type right here, but you just have to click edit on this side, and then it's going to bring you back to your full booking record. And this is where you're going to be able to make the edits. So again, I'm going to scroll down to that communications and tracking. And I haven't put anything in here yet, but I'm going to click apply defaults, and that's going to apply all those settings that we just created. So again, it's right over here in the top left corner, apply defaults. I'm going to click that. And then here we go. Everything is filled in nice and neatly for me. So you can see I want the lease to be sent by tomorrow. I want that lease received about a week after. Payment 1 is going to be due upon receiving that lease or pretty close thereof. And then this one got kind of messed up because remember I had put 60 days before their arrival date, but because this is a last minute booking, I can go ahead and maybe I'll just say I want that full payment in one. So I can either make this to be the full payment amount, which is up here, my full payment amount, or if I still want to do two payments, I can go ahead and just change this date to be, you know, maybe I'll put that as Monday. So first payment's due on the 18th, second on the 20th. And same with the security deposit. I'm going to want to override that due date and make sure that that works with this last minute booking. But normally that would be set for 60 days before the arrival date. And just to clarify things here, payment 1 and payment 2 are splitting up. I'll show you the calculations up here. Payment 1 and payment 2 are dividing this total number right here into 2 payments. So it's taking your rental rate, your additional fees. You can see my cleaning fee got added in right here as an additional fee. This is where you'd see cleaning fee, you would see pet fee, you would see linen fee would all be added here if you had those listed below in that section below. Then everything, all of this is getting taxed. This is my final tax rate that got updated because I added my cleaning fee. And then I have my total here, and that's what's getting split into those 2 payments. If you are using that 50% payment, you just want to make sure that you're collecting the security deposit as well. So 2 different ways you can do that. You can either request the security deposit as a separate payment, or you can add the security deposit to this payment. So I would just add $500. So I'd override this. This would then be, if I'm doing my math correctly, $4,047. So, and this is really important. I'll get into, again, the details in the next training, but if you're using automatic payments, you want to make sure that these 2 numbers are reflecting what you want for payment 1 and payment 2. Okay, so then you can see everything else got added in. My cleaning fee was added, when I want the info and keys sent. Again, this is kind of, these are kind of messed up because they're showing 30 days. This is a last minute booking. So I'd want to override this and put in the correct date that I want the information sent and the pre-arrival information sent. But pre-departure info, that's going to be sent the day before they leave. And then I'm going to request a guest review the day after they leave, or maybe usually I like to request it on that same day that they're departing. And then I want to make sure the security deposit is sent back 30 days after their stay. And here I can keep track of, you know, maybe I spent $20 on their welcome basket. I can keep track of that number there. Okay, so I think I showed you, that's all the communications tracking, and very important, you have to make sure you click save after you've completed everything. And again, it's reminding me that the lodging tax got updated, so that's okay. And then here, if I go back to this booking record here and I click on the caret, it's going to show me all those due dates that I have coming up for this booking record. So that'll help keep me organized. And then if you want to set up an email to be sent to you to remind you of all these reminders that you have, We Need a Vacation can automatically send you an email that tells you what you have coming up. So I can show you how to do that real quick. If you go back to the settings up here and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see email reminder preferences right here. So these are email reminder preferences for the homeowner, for you. And then these are the automated guest email reminders that I'll show you in the booking management phase 2 training. And these are for the guest. So I'll show you quickly the email reminder preferences for the homeowner. So you can do a weekly booking management update that will look something like this. And it's going to show you who the vacationer is and what is coming due. So their balance needs to be received, and the amount is $1,478, and that's due on this date that's listed here. And you can also do an overdue booking item alerts, and that will show you all the items that you have that are overdue, that you have to take care of. So you can see here, I have this set up to come out on Sundays. And if I enable that, and then I enable this one, that's going to send me emails giving me little reminders of everything I have due for booking management, which is helpful. It can also be a little overwhelming if you have a lot of things that are coming up that are due. So sometimes it's easier for me to just go back to this. Actually, I'm going to save this first. Sometimes it's easier for me to go back to my booking management, my bookings main page, and just kind of see what I've got. I can go into each guest and look and see, okay, oops, sorry. I don't want to do the edit. I wanted to do the caret. I can go into each guest and kind of see quickly what's coming up that I have to send to them or make sure I receive from them. Okay, so I think, oh, actually, I want to show you the calendar too. So I'm going to go over to our calendar page, and actually I'm going to mark this before I go to the calendar page. I'm going to mark this as booked. So say they sent me the lease and the first payment, I'm going to go back in here, mark it as booked, click save, and then I'm going to show you what that looks like on the calendar. So I'll go back to my homeowner center, and I'll go to calendar and pricing right here. And then if I scroll down, you can see right here how it's grayed out and checked off. And this means that this is a week that I've booked in booking management. And if I try to click on this, if I want to like open this whole week or something, it's going to give me a little error and say, these dates have been booked in booking management and they cannot be updated here. Please go to the booking record and booking management to update. And so this is a safeguard against double booking. Because, you know, what if I looked at this and I'm like, why is the 11th booked? I didn't mean to do that. And then I just mark it open and then I book somebody for this week. Then I've accidentally double booked on Saturday night. And so from here on out, if you're using booking management, we strongly advise that you do all your bookings in booking management and allow them to be marked off in this manner. So if I came in here and someone wanted to book the week following, and I just went ahead like I would have done before I used booking management, and I mark all these off, then it starts to get confusing because this person's being tracked in booking management, but then who is this person and where am I tracking their information? So really, if I do want to mark this date off, I should really do that in booking management. So I'm going to have to open this back up again, open this one so that I can then go over to booking management and create a new booking record to cover that week there. And if this was marked as tentative, it would just show up as gray without the check marks. I think I have a tentative. Yeah. So right here, these are all marked as tentative. So this is gray. Again, it's not checked off. So a vacationer can still inquire on these dates. Okay. So I think that is everything. And I'm going to ask Sarah if any questions came up in the chat.
Just one. And we answered it. It was just about the deposit, making sure it's not taxable. So
okay,
yeah,
great.
But that's it so far.
Awesome. Were there any other questions about the booking management that anybody has? If you have questions that are not related to booking management, we just ask that you send those to support at We Need a Vacation, so we can keep this conversation just about booking management. But anybody can go ahead.
Christine has a question. I don't know if she's typing it up, but she put question in the chat.
Or you can unmute Christine and ask the question if you want.
Oh, here it is. On the calendar, booked week can be grayed, checked, and also the calendar days crossed. Christine, would you mind unmuting and just clarifying what you mean?
Sorry, I was typing when this all came up.
Oh, sorry.
We were just crossing lines. it was, you know, if you look at that book date, the calendar, like the 10th, 11th, 12th, the date is crossed out. The little box below it is checked off and it's grayed.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering what those all mean. When you were just in calendar, you know, you scroll down, you had that month that was tentative, and below that there was another reservation that just, it didn't have the date numbers crossed off, just the boxes checked. So I'm just kind of wondering what those indications are.
Okay, sure. I'll share my screen again. So, okay, so here, this grayed out, that means that it is marked as tentative in booking management. So again, that can be still, a guest can make an inquiry on this date and request these dates. So then you might have, you know, 2 guests that are kind of waiting to see who's gonna get it. And then down here, this week, that's it's grayed out, checked, and crossed off. This means it's booked in booking management. So, you know, you've got a signed lease and payments either pending or payments made on this this week here. And then if it's, oops, sorry about that. If it's blank, if it's white and open, that means it's open for booking. So someone can come in here and request those dates. And let me see if there's any other.
Okay, I think I just saw that wrong. So
Okay.
if it's booked, it does both. It checks the box in the date and it crosses out the date number. Sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And it's not going to show it as a blue check mark. That's when you've marked it in your calendar as booked. But when it comes through booking management, it shows it as checked and grayed.
Thank you.
And actually, yeah, it's all up here in the key right here. So unavailable because of booking management or tentative set by booking management still shows as available in the listing.
And Carrie, it's important for our homeowners to know that for what the vacationer sees on the calendar, it only shows whether it's open and available or unavailable. It doesn't, there's nothing that happens on the calendar that a vacationer sees if it's tentative. So what Carrie has been showing you is just what you as the homeowner sees.
Yeah, so this is what the vacationer will see. They'll go to the listing, they'll go to pricing and availability, and they're going to see, okay, that week is blocked. I can't have that week, but all these other weeks are open. And I can inquire on these weeks. And technically they can still inquire about this week. Sometimes people are desperate for a week and they'll say, you know, is that week available? But you can say, you know, as you can see on my calendar, it is blocked, but I can put you on a cancellation list or something like that, however you manage those things. All right, any other questions about booking management?
Yes, Wendy asked if there's a way to see all the due items for all the renters in one spreadsheet.
All the due items for all the renters in one spreadsheet. Okay, so let's go to booking management. So this quick view here is going to show you who has things that are overdue, or again, I said if there's a little calendar image, that's something that's coming due, or if you're all set with somebody, then you get this green check mark if you're all up to date with everything. So this is kind of a quick view, but then you do have to go in and do the drop down caret to see for this particular person what's coming up that's due. But then other than that, I don't think there's a way to see what's coming up that's due for everybody all at once. I think you just kind of have to use this little flag here to then open up the booking for each person.
Carrie, do you want to show them how to, where to put the pricing, the additional pricing in on their calendar, and whether to check the optional box or not?
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to go to the homeowner center and show under calendar and pricing. If you scroll all the way past the calendar, down here, additional fees. So this is one place where you can enter those additional fees. This is what you're talking about, Joan, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see I've got my $200 cleaning fee here. I have 0 for pet and linen. Administrative, that's for realtors. Security deposit, I have listed here is 500. And a little note I put that the security deposit is refundable. And the damage waiver, again, that's also for realtors. So then over here, if it's optional, so say I had an optional linen fee, you know, of $150 for linen fee, I could select that. That states that it's an optional fee. So maybe the vacationer can bring their own linens, or they have to pay the linen fee if they want to use the linens that are at my house, or a linen service through that I set up for them. So then, so these numbers here, if I click save, they're going to get bumped over to the settings area where I showed you earlier how to fill this in on the settings. So let's just do a little test here. If I click save on that one, then I can show you where it shows up. If we go back to the homeowner center, go to booking management. And then if I created a new booking record, actually, no, I'll just go back to one of the booking records I was already working on. I'll go back to this test one. And then if I go down to the bottom and I click apply defaults, that pet fee should show up, or linen fee, I'm sorry, linen fee should show up right here. So it kind of pulled it in when I clicked apply defaults. And then also if I go to my settings from this view, you're going to be able to see that linen fee show up right there. So if I update the linen fee in settings here, it's going to push it back to that other page, or if I update on the other page, it'll push it here. So you can never have, you know, accidentally 2 different linen fees. It's just going to be the same here. However, if, you know, I had a different linen fee just for these people because, you know, they said, oh, we're only using 1 bed, so can you give us a discount on that linen fee? Then I could go ahead and override their linen fee down here and just put, you know, $50 for the linen fee and click save. And then that's going to override the linen fee just for this one test case. Any other booking management questions?
Yes, Christine said this was touched on in the last Zoom. How do you suggest filling out the rental rate for, say, a 2-week rental that straddles 2 rate periods? So for instance, 4th of July week and the following week when the rate might be higher.
So it's a 2-week rental. Personally, I would just charge the first week rate for the first week of July, and then the second week rate, I would just add those together. Did that answer your question?
Yes. So it's, I mean, it's not being pulled from anywhere else, right? You're literally just entering what you're charging for rent. It's not like it's
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not going to pull it from the calendar automatically. You're going to have to manually enter the rate. And, you know, so maybe you decided to give them a discount for 2 weeks, then you would just calculate that discount and manually enter that
You're
rate.
just putting in the total you agreed on. There's
Yeah.
no weekly totals, you know, it's not totaling a weekly rate or anything like that. Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Thank you.
Good question.
Vass said, can I enter past rentals to keep track of this year?
So I think so. I think you can enter past rentals. Let's see. So let's say we wanted someone to keep track of somebody that came last week. They're booked, source, and then I think I just need to add a rental rate. And then we could click on past 6 months. And there they are, the blank one with $2,000. That's the one we just entered. Yeah, so you can you can add in past rates or past renters to keep track, to kind of update your booking.
And at the top there, Carrie, you had, if you can get rid of the filters thing or get back to where it says, to see, yeah, right. No, see past entries, past bookings. Yeah, right there. Specific range, if you wanted to go back a full year, for instance, you would, just change those dates there. And then click find, and it'll bring up all of your past bookings. So that's a handy thing to have.
Yeah, so say I did so say I did that year, I wanted to find that year of information, then I just click find, and then it's going to show me all the renters from then.
He also would like to know if there's a way to see the total of the taxes that are due.
So that you would have to do the export, where you can export a file, and then you'll get an Excel spreadsheet, so then you can manipulate the data there. We do have this new feature that you all aren't able to see yet, but reports, where this will be live coming up, and I don't know, maybe the next couple months, but with reports, you would be able to do a monthly report, and you'd be able to pull out the information from 1 month. So I can show you that as soon as that's available. We'll be able to do a office hour to show that, but that'll be a pretty handy feature to have coming up soon.
For sure. Who doesn't love a good spreadsheet? I know I do.
Yeah. All right, any other booking management questions? And I guess if there's nothing else right now, I'll pass it back to Sam.
Sure. We'll send out a recording after this, so you'll all get to see a copy of this demo again in case you missed anything. And then be sure to keep an eye out too for the next phase. If you will, we'll have another office hour for booking management. If you have any questions that you think of after this, you can always email us at support@weneedavacation.com, or you can call our office. So thank you everyone for joining us.